How are you guys doing? My name is Desmond with First Impression Engineering, hailing out of the Drip Studios here in Toledo, Ohio. I am going to show you how you can use three things to imitate the SSL or the Neve, all of these super expensive mixing consoles that are world renowned that gets you a great sound, right? And I'm gonna show you how to do this for $1,500 or less. And that's saying something. These consoles go anywhere from $50,000 to $500,000, right? So I am using a combination of three things. This very inexpensive mixing console, the Eurodesk SX4882, bought for $300 at a used at a music store. I see it online, used for $300 very often, so it's pretty consistent. Then the Apollo Twin USB, which is about $1,000 new. You can get it used for less. I suggest getting it new. I got a deal on it. It was new, but I still got it for like $800. And then plugins. These are the Apollo's Unison plugins, but I'm also using Slate Digital plugins as well. All right, and Waves plugins. So let's talk about plugins first. We're going to talk about the Apollo Twin, and we're going to talk about plugins. And then we're going to talk about why I have this old, cheap mixing console with reviews that say just the preamps are pretty clean, but they're just not very musical. They're pretty dull. Why buy this when these preamps are great? So let's get into that. With the Apollo Twin, what separates the Apollo Twin from a lot of other interfaces, audio interfaces, is the Apollo Twin can use the UAD plugins to imitate hardware. Usually plugins are post, meaning after you record, you slap a plugin on there to try to change what the recording sounds like, right? Hardware is different. You actually record directly through the hardware, so it prints your vocals with those effects, with those Class A preamps, with those compressors. It prints that for you, right? Going in. So it's not post, it's pre. And it sounds much better this way. It's more musical. The hardware always outdoes the plugins, right? So, like I said, with the Apollo, it actually works with the plugins to record your voice with the effects. Basically the same way that the hardware does. So you can use a Neve 1073 preamp and copycat using the actual hardware preamp, or you could use the Avalon 737 plugin and copycat the sound of the real Avalon 737. So this is the problem with plugins, though. Even with this Apollo, plugins do a great job of copycatting the sound, but they do not copycat the depth, the headroom, the bigness, the wideness of that unit. Those units give your voice a lot of headroom. It gives your voice a lot of depth. It gives your voice, they always, the actual hardware is always bigger. The recordings are bigger, more bold, more 3D, more in your face. And plugins end up being a bit digital. Now, one thing I can say is, since the Apollo copies hardware, I believe that it has more depth than the average plugin. It has a bit more headroom, of course, and Uh, it could be a bit bigger than the average plugin, post plugin, but it still lacks the depth and the bigness and wideness of the actual hardware. So that is where this comes in at. I am literally only using this for the headroom, the depth, and the bigness and wideness it gives me. And I heard it as soon as I plugged my microphone into the back of this unit before going into my interface. At first, my microphone was going directly into my interface. It still sounded good, still was great, was getting really good recordings out of it, but it lacked that depth that I was looking for. Once I plugged this up, plug that microphone into the back of this unit, and then plugged it into the Apollo, I got exactly what I was looking for. Now think about it this way, guys. Say you're looking for that Neve console sound, right? So you have your Apollo and you have your Neve 1073, right? But even though this Apollo copies the sound of the 1073 very well, you don't have that headroom that the 1073 gives you. You don't have that width. You don't have that depth. When your vocal goes through this unit has a pretty clean preamp, so it doesn't really color your sound very much. But when it goes through this unit, it gives it headroom. It gives it a lot of depth. It makes your vocal much bigger and wider. So then by the time it goes into this Apollo unit, now you have the color of the Neve, but you also have the depth, the analog depth you're looking for, the analog bigness and wideness that you're looking for. It sounds very, very close to the real console, or at the least the real Neve 1073 preamp, right? So, say you don't have the Apollo. You can achieve this with plugins as well, because like I said, the plugins copy the sound pretty decently, but they just don't have the depth. So if you have to use, say you have the Slate Digital virtual mix rack, say you have like that $50 a month Slate everything pass, right? What you would do is you would just slap on a FG73. That's the 1073, right? Now, if you want to just go for a more modern sound, they do have the Hollywood, the London, and the New York preamps as well, and 1076 by Slate as well, which is a little bit less popular. But say you want that SSL console, simple. If you got waves, use the NLS channel. You got Spike, Mike, and Neve. So Spike is literally just the SSL channel. I don't know. I guess for copyright purposes, Waves can't copycat the name. But yes, this is the SSL channel. So you would want to put this first in your signal chain, so you get the depth from this unit, and then you slap this plug-in on your vocal before anything, before EQ, before anything, and boom, you have that SSL sound, right? And I believe if you have the SSL bundle, you can get that preamp and it's going to sound even closer. Like I said, To me, the Apollo plugins sound better and more close than Waves or even Slate. But they're still pretty close. And if you have this hardware unit, then you can get away with copycatting actual SSL consoles, actual Neve consoles, or at the very least, SSL preamps and Neve preamps. So, me personally, I feel like I can copycat the whole thing. I have the SSL bundle, so I can copycat the preamp and the compressors. I can literally pretend that I am using the SSL unit, right? And it's gonna come out sounding very close, very, very professional. And like I said, this is $300. This cost me $800, but like I said, it's usually around $1,000. That's $1,300. And if you want to buy the Neve preamp for this Apollo, that's going to run you about $150. So that's $1,450 right there. Now, like I said, if you do not have this unit, but you have the Waves plugins, you have the Slate plugins, now you're looking at more in the range of $300 because you're not using this. You're not using the UAD plugins. So just adding this unit and using plugins will get you that sound. All right. Oh, there is one thing I do want to tell you about this thing. I am literally only using it so that my microphone can go through it and get that depth. I'm not using anything else about this. Not to say that you can't mix with it, not to say that you can't do multiple things with this unit, but when you actually look up the reviews for this unit, it is very inconsistent. The only thing that I see that is consistent is the unit almost every review I see of this used unit is channels stop working. I have a lot of channels on this unit that does not work at all. So these units are bad with that. Behringer isn't known to be the greatest company. And they say that the pre's are they're just dull sounding, which to me is good because I don't want to add a lot of color. I want to add the color with my plugins. But that is the problem with this unit. The channels go out. If you buy it used, you're most likely gonna have a lot of channels that are missing or not working. So I don't really recommend this unit for anything other than what I'm using it for. But if you're using it for that, I'm telling you it's gonna come out great. It's perfect for what I need it for, and it literally copycats these consoles great. Nothing's perfect, but what I say is great. I've sat in front of a Neve. I've recorded with a Neve console and an SSL console and an Audient console. I've never owned one myself, but I love the experience. There's nothing like them, but on a budget, this is very close. I promise you, it's so close that other than aesthetics, I don't really feel like you would need to buy one. I'm gonna buy one. I'm not gonna Why? Wait till I'm rich. I'm gonna buy one. Just because it's something to have and it's aesthetically beautiful, um, and also it's just a staple. And Rupert Neve is he's the goat, man. He's one of the goats. But like I said, I get so close to those results with the plug-in and console combination. The budget console combination is ridiculous. Right? This console even helps with siblings. If you have a sibling mic, which I hope you don't. I prefer dark mics unless you have an expensive microphone like maybe a U87 AI or. But other than that, I do not like sibling microphones, especially low end sibling microphones. If you ain't spending $3,000 for your mic and it's very low end and it's has a boost in the highs, most likely that boost is gonna be terrible. So anything less than a very high end mic, I would go for something darker, like maybe Octava MK3910 or something like that. Or even flat reference mics are great. You can color them however you want to. But that's all for now. Hopefully you guys get out of the video what you needed and you try it out for yourself and let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Hit that notification bell. Make sure that whatever content I release next, it'll help you out. All right?